If you're a content creator here in Utah, look up Utah Podcast Studios.
I am giving him more magnesium and searching what to do. I'm in despair. Are these cramps something he has to now live with? What helps? Please, anyone give us some hope.
But there is still hope. Like I was at that despair point and then fretted everything, and now down to where things are normal and happy and busy.
Don't lose hope and watch the videos that we link in the description.
Trusses fell down like dominoes, and I was up on top about 35 feet up from the cement floor and added some gravity and not a nice landing and broke all sorts of stuff. Nothing's wrong with my legs other than they don't work. That's where my pain is all felt. So like it would be really dumb if I had my legs gone, which I do have benefit of using, and then if I still had the same sensation of pain with nothing there, it would be unreal. Horrible. Like it would just be really horrible. Like I get it, like, and it was horrible and daunting, and then like thankfully God worked some miracles into our life and we were able to find some answers to what that pain was, and then found a doctor that knew how to treat it and help it.
We don't know the beginning from the end, especially with a disease like MS. Like I could be totally fine with very limited issues for the rest of my life, or I could end up in a wheelchair or blind next week. Like we don't know, but we trust that God knows and that he has a plan.
So if I ever lose my mind, I'll be fine, 'cause you're my silver lining. And if my world comes crashing down, I'll be fine, 'cause you're my silver lining. Yeah, you shine.
All right, we get hundreds, if not thousands of comments every month, and a lot of them have questions in them. So we've kind of gone through, put some of your questions together. We're going to answer some of the questions that are most frequently asked and some others. All right, let's get right into it. The first question is, praying for you, Dan. Is there an update on how your health is doing? So for those of you that don't know, Dan was in the hospital. I guess it's been a couple months now. April, February, March.
Oh, so it ended, yeah.
End of March, April, right?
April was the nasty month, yeah.
Really bad cellulitis infection in his leg, really scary time. They were talking about amputations and all kinds of crazy, silly things. So how are you doing?
Well, the update on that, we got that cellulitis thing under control. It was a bear. It took a minute, and had to delve into some antibiotics that the hospital usually likes to save for make sure that your body's not used to these kind of antibiotics. So finally got it under control and got the leg swelling down, and I feel like I got my health back, got my leg down to normal sizes most of the time. But yeah, health wise, things have been going really good, trying to be active, trying to get to the gym and just be physical all over.
He was doing well enough to take our 12-day trip to Africa, so we were super thankful for that. And then right now he has a blood clot in his leg, which is a superficial one, so they're not worried about it like going to his lungs or anything, but it's making his legs swell up again. And another trip to the ER the other night. Whatever. It's always something, but overall he's doing good.
Right.
Not dead. We're good.
Yep.
All right. My husband has arachnoiditis and is starting to have cramps like this at night. She's referring to one of the videos where Dan's in a lot of pain. I am giving him more magnesium and searching what to do. I'm in despair. Are these cramps something he has to now live with? What helps? Please, anyone give us some hope. So I would say maybe give a quick answer, but then for sure in the description, we will put a link to a couple of videos that address this in more detail to give you some answers.
So it's not something I don't feel like, and I guess I'm not a doctor or medical person at all, other than if he has arachnoiditis, there are a few things that I do to help. One is that, and one that helped the most is the injectable Toradol or Ketorolac for knocking that pain down to where it can be manageable with what other things you might have.
Disclaimer, we're not doctors.
Yeah.
Ask
So
your doctor about it.
yeah, take that to your doctor. We'll put a link to a page that has all sorts of information give to your doctors too, through our old doctor that helped treat and find hope for myself. So has a 40-page pamphlet to take to your doctors and educate them. But there is still hope. Like I was at that despair point and then fretted everything, and now down to where things are normal and happy and busy, and I still have the pain where it bounced up and wants to try to stop me or whatever, but we can manage it and know that it's just going to be for a minute and on to
you're
the next
still
one.
in constant pain, but it's manageable and livable now. It
Yeah.
wasn't before. It had you pretty down.
Yeah, for sure. It was really
So don't lose
frustrating.
hope. Don't lose hope. And watch the videos that we link in the description. Where's your SmartDrive is the next question.
Dang. Man.
Rub it
I've
in, why don't you?
Yeah. The SmartDrive. So the battery, I actually had 3 of them. And when they park for a while and just get worn down, the batteries quit working. So all 3 drives that I had are all dead. And I would love to have another SmartDrive. It was very helpful, very, very helpful. And hopefully I just got a new insurance program, an insurance company that I'm hoping they'll be nice and let me be approved for it. The other one, like to fight that big time. And they're expensive to buy on your own. They're about $7,000. So it's something that definitely want to have the insurance help pay for. So working on that. But
It is the SmartDrive. Not having the SmartDrive has made us realize how much we appreciate it. Because man, I have never had to push Dan so many times, like just up inclines and stuff that normally the SmartDrive would get you up. And yeah, just watching you struggle in situations through grass or whatever, where normally the SmartDrive would just whip you through there. It's a
SmartDrive is an
huge tool.
amazing tool.
Plug for SmartDrive.
Yeah, they're awesome. But
All right. What happened to him?
which part? So my injury, my paralysis is a result of a fall type injury building a home. We were setting trusses on a roof building, so the roof peak part, and standing up on the top of this area, and some bracing gave loose, and the trusses fell down like dominoes, and I was up on top about 35 feet up from the cement floor, and added some gravity and not a nice landing, and broke all sorts of stuff. I cracked my C1 vertebrae up in the very top, blew my L1 lumbar number 1 apart. That's where we're suspecting that I landed on where my hammer used to hang back there in my tool belt, and then broke S2, 3, and 4. So my tailbone got crushed, and then my pelvis broke in several places and collapsed my left lung and tore my spleen. So that was my fall.
You did a number on yourself.
Yep. And then, it was just a matter of getting patched up from there. They put a cage around the area that exploded, and there's a bunch of hardware in there and different surgeries through the years. And it's just been a nightmare as far as all that goes, but back together and active and going, and hope that there's no other problems.
That was in
Knock on wood.
August of 2013. So it's crazy that it's been almost 12 years. And I kind of love that we're losing track of how many years it's been, because I feel like that means we've adapted to it and we're living life and just kind of not dwelling on the fact that, oh man, it's been 9 years, it's been 10 years. Like when we were filming our last episode, we were like, has it been 12 or 13 years? Like, I kind of like that's where we're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it feel like the trauma is not so fresh.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, when are y'all going to start selling merch again?
as far as merch goes, I've got my laptop over here that is constantly nagging at me to get in there, and we had to change our vendor. So in doing so, we have not started anything yet. I've got an account set up. I just need to put our merch back into it, and then we're going to be just having to do the drop shipping for a while, but we're going to get it going. Having it going was way better than not going, so we'll make it happen. I'll get going on it soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Such suffering for what? Do his legs help him anymore, or would he be better off without them?
That is a good question, and it's funny because that comment will get people up in a riff, like in defense for me or whatever a lot. But it's something that is a real question, and it's something that even back in the beginning, I dedicated the first year out of the hospital to every day, 5 days a week for the first year. I was doing physical therapy, and during that point, I was like, man, like, would it be better off if I just had them amputated and maybe worked on some leg braces, or the the prosthetics, thank you, instead, or something, because there was a guy that was a double amputee going through therapy at the same time as I was. I weighed that option and then just got real worried. There's all sorts of fears. First off, yes, they are beneficial to me. I still have some use in like my right one mainly. Like I'm able to like engage the quad so I can like use it to plant on the ground, to get in and out of the car, to get up into the cupboards if I needed to. In a lot of our videos, you'll see me with my trusty step ladder thing that I have that I can, hold on to and get up and use. So I use it a lot, and it makes me like the other part that keeps me away from the idea of amputation is phantom pain. Hold on, sorry. Having pain hit really hard right now. Sorry. All right. So, yeah, the fear of phantom pain would be another big consideration that was brought up when I did bring it up with my doctors as a possibility. They're like, well, it would be really crappy because all my pain is in my legs right now, which nothing's wrong with my legs other than they don't work. But that's where my pain is all felt. So like, it would be really dumb if I had my legs gone, which I do have benefit of using. And then if I still had the same sensation of pain with nothing there, it would be unreal. And talking to people that have phantom pain with amputations, like horrible. Like it would just be really horrible to like
I feel
have
like
that
that would
same
be
thing with nothing
worse,
there.
huh? I feel like it'd be
Yeah.
worse because you're like feeling all this pain, and
You're
there's
like,
you'd be like
Where's
so
my leg?
angry that
It's not even there.
because sometimes you're like punching your leg and trying to
Yeah.
like do something about it, but if it wasn't there at all, you would feel like there's nothing you can do.
That would be
Like,
really crazy.
That would be
feeling.
crazy. So speaking of that, what are you suffering from? What disease? And let's just do like a quick rundown because we'll put a link to a video that describes it in more detail.
So
Arachnoiditis.
yeah, with the adhesive arachnoiditis is the main reason for my nerve pain. And it's just a condition where the nerves in my spinal cord are fused together and then they're stuck to the sidewall inside my spinal cord. And so any bending, lifting, and twisting, literally any bending, lifting, and twisting will like cause little micro aggravations to that. And then my pain just flares from there.
And if you have any kind of extreme pain that looks like it might be similar to what Dan has, and you've ever had an epidural or a myelogram or a spinal tap, like look into arachnoiditis. It is diagnosable by MRI. So, but if you want to know more about that, which a lot of people do, click on the video in the description under this question. The next question is, where have you been, nice family? Haven't seen you in a while. God bless, I'm watching you.
We have been busy. We do need to do more live stuff. and get active with our community. So
We have been more active on like Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, go follow us there. We post more like daily, at least
the
weekly,
stories and things
bi-weekly,
that
whatever
they do,
content.
they do make it easier to post that stuff over there. So
As far as YouTube, we've been going through some trainings and we've been just trying to like hone down like what we actually want our YouTube channel to be. And so now we're doing this podcast, and so you should see pretty regular posts here from here forward, and then we'll still keep doing shorts as
yeah,
well.
still have the regular things going on too.
But we've also been really busy. We spent 12 days in Africa. Dan was in the hospital on and off
For a
for
month.
an entire
Yeah.
month plus. Like it was just like, yeah, posting content and being content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call it. It's a grind and it takes a lot of time and effort and everything. So if something's going on in our personal lives or if we're traveling or whatever, it makes it hard to maintain it. But we're here, we're alive, we're doing awesome. So why can't you die of old age? Why suffer? Old age.
What do you mean? Like, why can't I just be dead already?
I think this is probably in response to one of the videos with where you're in extreme pain, and so they're like why don't you just die? Which actually there were lots of comments like that.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, it's probably a thought that somebody dealing with that pain, like, I know the first 4.5 years after my injury, when I had those 7, 8, 9, 10s in pain, like nonstop all day long, like it got so exhausting, to the point where I was even telling Andrea, like, I don't know what I'm not saying that I'm trying to end things. Like, I don't want that, but I can't imagine going another 5, 10, 20 years or whatever dealing with this. Like, I get it, like, and it was horrible and daunting. And then like, thankfully God worked some miracles into our life and we were able to find some answers to what that pain was, and then found a doctor that knew how to treat it and help it. And I was able to get that knocked down to where, like, I think other people deal with chronic pain and stuff nonstop, as well. And life is just still really good. Like, I have an amazing, beautiful wife. We have an active, healthy life. As parents to our kids, we're like, I would be super sad thinking about not being able to be a part of my kids' lives. We've got 6 kids between the two of us, and ages from 4 to 18. But yeah, there's
That's
just
wild. We have 18-year-olds.
yeah, it's
We
just
just had 2 kids graduate. That's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy.
Maybe we are in old age. We're just in denial.
I don't think so. But so, anyways, like, there's still so much good in it. In addition to that, like, feeling like we're serving a purpose and helping, the community in some way with our content and our life, sharing our life and everything as well. I think we'll stick around for a while
Yeah, I agree.
and just
Stick
keep on
around.
hoping that there's going to be something even better and bigger in the way of getting through this. Maybe something will break through here before too long. Hopefully.
Yeah. But even if it doesn't, if you stop and count your blessings, like there's a lot to live for, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing too, for real. That was, yeah, a big part of it.
All right. This next question is kind of loaded, and it's in reference to when Dan was in the hospital a few months ago. And it just happened at a really crazy time when he lost coverage with Medicaid. Normally he has double coverage with Medicaid, and for crazy, silly reasons, he ended up losing that, and then ended up losing his insurance. And then he ended up in the ER and being admitted, and ambulance rides and all the things. And it was just extremely overwhelming and daunting to be dealing with Dan in horrible health and possible amputations, and trying to take care of our kids at home and seeing the numbers in our bank account that and knowing that we were going to be getting crazy bills from all this hospital stuff. Anyways, we had several of you saying like, how can we help? Create a GoFundMe, whatever. And we did create a GoFundMe, which we are so thankful for all of you that donated to help our family. And social media, which is like to be able to put all of this content out for you guys and to be able to stay consistent on it and to keep on top of emails and comments and editing and videoing, posting and all the things, it actually is like I said before, like a grind, and it takes a lot of time. And so we've committed to putting this content out there because when Dan was in the hospital after his injury, he was searching all over on YouTube and stuff to find like videos of people that would give him hope that his life would be worth living still, basically. And he couldn't find anything out there. So we both have always had a dream to put content out there. We think it's very important. We feel like we have a big mission to do in helping other people, helping newly injured people, helping anyone that's struggling through life. And so we have dedicated ourselves to make that our employment. That being said, social media is kind of crazy. Like you could get a brand deal, you could have some videos go viral, and you could make a ton of money one month, and then the next month not make, like just make pennies on the dollar or nothing. And so it's kind of really a roller coaster, and the money is kind of a plus and also a necessity at this point because we do spend all of our time that we would normally be working a job doing social media. But all that disclaimer said,
God.
the question is, but you can afford to take the family out to eat. Why aren't you wearing Depends if you're having bathroom issues? Did you get canceled because of the money you make from YouTube, which with the number of subscribers you have must be 15,000 or more a month? We've never made 15,000
Yeah.
yet.
Wow.
We hope in the future that we have that plus some. But you actually, to be completely transparent, you can get on, there's a website called viewstats.com, and you can get on and type in any YouTuber's name and see like an estimate of what they make. And I've looked at ours pretty consistently and it's pretty accurate. So feel free to get on there. This month it's like $200 or something. So not 15,000.
It's definitely up and down, and it's not as easy as you think like that. So
Yeah. So, and then also, but you can afford to take your family out to eat. Like, come on, like everybody needs to like splurge occasionally or whatever. We have birthdays that we want to enjoy, or again, how people spend their money is not anyone's business. When people decide that like they follow us, they appreciate our content, they appreciate the time and effort we put in, and they start to care about us individually and our family, like, and they decide to donate, they're not giving, expecting anything in return. They're not giving and then micromanaging all of our posts to make sure we're spending our money on what they want us to or whatever. I think they're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And like I've seen several people comment and say like, who cares? Like if I want to give my money to them, I'm going to give my money to them. Like if you don't, then don't. So anyways, we're super appreciative of what people have donated, and don't always judge a book by its cover, right? Like, yeah, lots of YouTubers make a lot of money and we're hoping to get there, but definitely not 15,000 or more a month. And what was I going to say? Oh, like Dan has a Corvette that you see in some of our videos. That's a Corvette that is a 2002 model, and it's something that he bought before his accident. He bought it salvaged and remade it, and we have a loan on it. And like whatever, people are like, you have a Corvette and you're asking for money. It's like anyway, don't judge a book by its cover. Moving on. No offense, but why did she have so many children knowing she has MS?
just dropping kids out accidentally everywhere because
I
you're
know.
dumb.
Oops. No, actually, that's a valid question, and actually something that I was at the point where I was like, okay, I don't think that I can have any more babies because I'm getting older, and lots of fatigue, and I don't know what the MS is going to do to me, and will I be able to take care of a newborn? Those were all thoughts I was having before we had our 5th child. And we, through divine inspiration, promptings of the Spirit, like, we just knew that we needed to do that. And so many miraculous blessings have come of it. And so many miracles have taken place to be able to bring our last 2 babies here.
Yeah.
We'll put a link in the description to some videos where we talk about that as well. But yeah, I think we don't know the beginning from the end, especially with a disease like MS. Like, I could be totally fine with very limited issues for the rest of my life, or I could end up in a wheelchair or blind next week. Like, we don't know, but we trust that God knows and that he has a plan. And so if he's prompting us to have kids, that's what we did with our last 2. Do you ever get the excruciating pain while driving?
Yes, I do, and have had that happen. When that happens, well, if it's really bad, I will, pull over. Like, I'm like aware enough still to be able to drive. I drive with hand controls, which is helpful because my legs are usually like, clenched out and hurting or whatever, but like I'm still able to detach. It's like, if you can imagine riding a horse, like they always say, let your hands be, let the horse have the reins a little bit, so I'm not like locked onto the steering wheel and, like jerking all around. I'm able to detach that and anyways, manage that accordingly. There's been times where I've had to pull over and sit there for half hour, an hour, like whatever, to try to get pain to where I can be safe and feel safe driving. So yeah, it is just situational each time. So
there's been a couple times where I wondered if I was going to need to come rescue him, because he'd call and just like screaming in pain and saying he's stuck on the side of the road or whatever, but he's been able to get it under control eventually, enough to drive home. And then there's been a few times where he's home and in the car and having so much pain that it takes him 45 minutes to an hour to get out of the car and into the house.
Yeah.
So the next one, this is aimed at me as well. And this is in regards to the videos that I've posted of Dan when he's having his extreme pain. And it says, I don't understand how you're filming this and then posting videos. Instead of filming everything, why not comfort him and post what he's going through with words? I just don't get filming everything just for clicks and money. What is your reasoning for this kind of post? Seriously, honestly asking. Again, that is a good question. Totally reasonable to ask that. There is a major purpose in us posting an actual visualization of Dan having that intense pain. I don't think there's any words that I could type out that would give you a visual understanding of like how extreme that pain is. And so it's important for one, like Dan is a grown man and he's the one that like also is wanting and okay with posting those. So it's not like I'm just like posting them without his consent so that I can make a bunch of money.
Blinking for help.
Blink if you need help, Dan. But the other thing is we've been able to help so many people. So many people. Dan has spent countless hours on the phone with people that are like, they reach out to us in comments or on emails. And then I give them Dan's phone number because they're oh my gosh, I've never seen, you have to see it. I've never seen anybody in as much pain, like seen somebody having the type of pain that I have. This is the first time that I've felt seen, that I've felt validated, that I've felt like somebody understands the type of pain that I'm having. And we've been able to point them in the right direction because adhesive arachnoiditis is rare. I don't think it's that rare, but it's on the rare disease and disorder list. And a lot of doctors have no idea what it is. So people are suffering unnecessarily because there are things that can help it. There's nothing that can cure it, but there are things that can help it. So it's very important to get the word out there, not just to people that might have it, but also to doctors, which a lot of our videos are aimed at, like educating doctors. So it is really important for people to see that there's no, if I wrote something out, it's not going to go viral for me writing what's in pain, right? And so it's not going to reach as many people. It's not going to get to where it needs to go to the doctors and people
Yeah.
that are suffering.
There's been so many times when people are just like, even when I finally talk to somebody on the phone, they're just like in tears and just like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? What I've tried to tell my doctors have no clue. Like, what is this? Everything you're doing in those videos is what I'm doing. And like, I've never been able to explain it, or it doesn't happen when I'm at my doctor's, or like, just all the things. And just for them to be able to see that, I've had people say, I've taken your video with me to the doctors to show the doctors that this is what happens to me when mine's bad. Like, this is it right here. And it, it's all there for a tool. Like, there's a reason why God's allowed us to have this platform and put that information out at the times that it does and has and been there, and for the right people to come into it and see it. And those are the people that are being blessed with the next. I would have loved to have seen, oh my gosh, if I had seen one of these videos, in my journey. I went for 4.5 years having those major pain attacks all day long. And
Not one person, doctor or not, could tell you what it was. So
nobody.
had you seen a video on the internet, like, we could have found answers way sooner.
Totally. So there's a reason, a method to our madness on that. And it's
Also,
not just to get clicks and money.
Yeah. And a lot of those videos also, like we showed Dan waking up in that extreme pain. And then by the end of the day, he's like building our kids' bunk bed room. And so it's motivational to a lot of people that deal with chronic pain, which are a lot of people, to say, okay, like, I have pain and I can also live life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, I'm in pain, I have chronic pain, so that's it. That's the end of my story. Like, we've been able to motivate a lot of people. So.
That's the punch today in the face mentality that we talk about with our merch. It's dig deeper. Like, you've got it in you. Just fight through it.
All right. Next question. How many children do you both have together? And the older children, are they from a past marriage? So when we met, we each had.
This is Andrea's third marriage.
And Dan's third marriage. Wow. Throw me under the bus. Yeah. This is both of our third marriage. We've learned a lot over the years. But yeah, so when we met, we each had 2 kids. Dan had 2 girls. I had 2 boys. At the time we met, they were 2 and 7. The girls were, and the boys were. So his girls were born in November. My boys were born in February. So they're only 3 months apart. So we have like 2 sets of twins. Currently, we have 2 18-year-olds that just graduated high school, 2 13-year-olds that are in junior high, and then a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. Those 2 we had together through in vitro fertilization, and they are absolute miracles and bring lots of joy to us.
To the whole family. Yeah. They're just
6 kids
fun.
Total.
Amazing.
Is your food healthy? Too much sugar causes inflammation.
You are so right on that. And I have a hard time with that.
Dan has a major sweet tooth from his dad.
I do. And my dad had it and passed it on to me. I really think it's a real addiction. Like, it's like, I know what to try to avoid, and I know that it causes inflammation. So I do try. And thankfully, I've got an amazing wife that also deals with inflammation with her MS. So we follow that MS diet it's like a swank diet. It's all about whole foods and trying to avoid all the garbage that causes inflammation. So you're dead on right on all of that. And I'm trying to avoid sugars and do things that are healthy and right, because it does help limit some of that inflammation. So
yeah, it's very important. Let food be thy medicine, or whatever Hippocrates said.
Yeah.
Dan, I was just wondering, where are your parents?
Well, my mom is at her house right now. No, she lives in Mesquite, and my dad
Your
is
mom does not live
not in
in
Mesquite.
Mesquite.
No, no.
We don't need to tell him where your
Yeah,
mom lives.
she used to live there, but she is just
In Utah.
being a little powerhouse, living on her own. My dad has passed away a couple years ago, and yeah, I just see mom whenever she's around, whenever she's in town, and um,
His dad died from Parkinson's. It was sad.
yeah, he
Sad
died
to watch.
way too early for sure. He was too young. But I think as far as one of the other questions just a minute ago with the sugar and inflammation, diet is a huge thing and can lead towards, all that dementia and Parkinson's and all that supposedly.
Your dad ate so many sweets.
Oh my gosh,
Up
that's
to
all.
the day he died. He was
Especially
like
when
sucking down the Hershey Kisses.
once he finally got, once I was one of his power of attorney, and my brother and I made the decision and the choice to, help him into a care center because he wasn't able to live healthy on his own. And then, yeah, it was just all through the end, man, he got access to ice cream all day long at the care center, and he made sure that he got his chocolate ice cream, and everybody brought chocolate treats and eclairs. And I remember the few times that we were bonding growing up would be like when Dad would like after a doctor's appointment run over to the donut shop. There's a donut place that he loved to go to, and in the area where we grew up, and that would be like that was his love language, would be to go get some treats.
He also baked lots of yummy treats too, right?
Yeah, he was a cinnamon roll, cinnamon bread king. Oh my gosh. Have yet to find replacements or quality that matched that, for real. Dad was amazing
Yeah.
with that.
This is an interesting question. Dan, if it was her in the wheelchair, where would you be?
You mean if I wasn't in a wheelchair?
I think so. Like if the roles were reversed.
Well, Andrea and I met after my injury, and it's impossible to put that in something that's real and like to know 1000% of anything. Like, but had I met Andrea and we had a chance to get to know each other much like we did, like I'm in love with Andrea. Like even now, if she ended up in a wheelchair or blind or all the other things that could happen with MS that I knew when we were dating and knew could be possibilities very real down the road at any point. I had to convince her that, look, I'm aware of this and I can, even though I'm in a wheelchair, I'll still be there to take care of you, whatever comes our way. And like,
Yeah, that was kind of actually, I didn't remember that we had those discussions, but it was like, okay, what happens if I deteriorate a lot? Like, how are you going to help me?
Those were, real things that we faced. And man,
Thank God we haven't had to worry about it so far.
love will conquer all, if you.
But he does take care of me a lot. I may not be in a wheelchair, but I do struggle with a lot of fatigue episodes and relapses with MS that just have me down and out. And he's a laundry doing, kid taken care of, full. He does a lot. Does a lot. We both care for each other a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. I'm so happy to see your happy family. Which country do you want to explore more with your family? Switzerland.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's my favorite place in
Germany.
the world, and I've wanted to take my kids and down there for years. I would love to go to Switzerland as a family. I've been to like, I don't know, probably like 20 countries now, and that is the most beautiful, absolute amazing place.
And I would have to agree with that. That's where I would want to go, just based off of all of those visualizations and her testimony.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. I want to be there.
I've convinced him that that's the place we need to go.
I do want to see
And we
all
were
the.
so close when we were in Paris.
I do want to see all the castles and old, like want to go to Germany also and just
Yeah.
explore. And that's where my heritage is from. And it would be cool to investigate and see.
And that's where
explore
I
all
went
that.
to high school, so
Yeah.
I'd love to go back there too. So yeah, we need to do a European tour. When we went to Ethiopia, we had a layover in Paris, and so we got in a taxi and went to the Eiffel Tower real quick and went back to the airport.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was like, oh, like my high school stomping grounds are 4 hours from here, and I felt like so close but so far away because we were getting on a plane to go to Egypt in a few hours, and
Yeah.
like I wanted so badly to just like, let's accidentally miss our flight and drive 4 hours so I can show Dan where I went to high school and everything.
Yeah.
But
Like Andrea uses Germany as like where she grew up. That's like where the most impressionable parts of her life when she's talking about, you would think that she grew up in Germany and then
yeah.
uh,
My dad was in the
migrated
Air Force. That's why I was in Germany. We were at Ramstein Air Force Base. Before that, I was in Japan. So yeah, between those two places, those are like my home, but they're not because I never get to go there. But all right, let's
Eventually.
just do one more question. How did you know you were the one for each other?
She told me.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
I'm the one for you, dang it.
You know,
It was a God
there's
thing.
so much to try to explain on that for real. Like we met and I was already in my wheelchair. The place where we met, I have to put a link in for some of our podcast stuff that talks about that or
Yeah.
videos that talk about that. We are both going through tragedy, crazy life-changing stuff, and we're there, be able to be friends and support for one another. And
It seemed like it wasn't like the best idea, like we were talking about. Like
yeah, with
I
her
had MS, Dan
and
was paralyzed.
there's
My
lots of
ex-husband had just had a traumatic accident, has a traumatic brain injury, and there was just so many reasons why it shouldn't work. And yeah, we'll put a link to the podcast episode we did where we talked
We-
to my parents and asked
Yeah.
them what their opinion was on me dating and planning to marry someone who was paralyzed.
And we did break up or take time away from each other at least 2 or 3 times where we're just like,
Yeah, but before we did, we got a tattoo together,
yeah,
right?
yeah, we
That
did.
said love, because at the beginning of our friendship and everything, like Dan said, we were both at rock bottom and we both just felt so much empathy and compassion towards what each other was going through that there was just like no other way to explain it but the word love. Like, and it wasn't like romantic love. It wasn't like I'm infatuated with you or lustful or whatever. It was like the two of us genuinely understood the other because we had lost everything. And yeah, we knew through prayers and through just constant confirmation that there was a bigger purpose for us meeting and being together and blending our families and everything. So it was most definitely a God thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We took the human equation out of it. Like she said with the tattoo thing, that was like one of our things. We're like, okay, we're going to go our separate ways.
But I'll never forget you.
But I'll never forget like this part of our lives. We went and got our tattoos and
It's like right here that says love. And so like when we're hugging, it's like they're next to each other.
they're both on the same side. And yeah.
Aw, so sweet. All right. That's a great place to end. If you enjoyed this episode, please click on the link to watch another one we think you'll enjoy. Don't forget to check out the description of this video because we are going to put lots of links to other videos that answer these questions in further detail. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
And always punch today in the face.
So if I